What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? It's your host, KJ, in the house with my infamous co-host, Los, for JHouze Radio, episode 90. We're 10 away from 100. That's freaking insane.
Wow, we're
That
10
is
away
insane.
from 100?
We're 10 away from 100.
Are we doing a 100-episode special?
I was actually thinking about that. I was actually going to bring it up during this episode. I think we should do a live show, like in person together for the 100th. I think we have
Yeah.
to. We
Yeah, I
wanted
think we have to.
so long, and we have to do something special, something different for the 100th episode. Like we literally can't not do something special, and I think that'll be a good one.
Listen, I'll agree to that on one condition. You
Okay,
you you bring your little jack-o'-lantern back there.
bring the jack o' lantern. That's the only condition.
That's the
Okay,
only condition. You gotta bring your
all right.
jack-o'-lantern.
I'm
We
down
gotta
with
have a prop on the table, bro. Come on.
that. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea. I think by the time we hit like maybe February, a little bit before March, we're gonna be 100 episodes. So we got to make a plan around that time.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
don't
we can
forget
get.
that the end of March, I'm not available.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So actually, no, I think it'll be before the end of March anyway. It'll be like mid February, maybe early March, depending on what's going on with the episodes.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
You know what I think we should do too? Since we're doing the special and we talk about Grey Door, I think I'm gonna send you a couple of pictures so you can throw up there, and we could talk about that too.
That's gonna be interesting. Throwing up some interesting throwback Grador Studio photos because we always talk about Grador on the show for sure, and that's like our
Yeah.
roots, man. That's our
Yeah,
roots.
but you know what though? We should definitely throw up your Joker picture.
You know what, when you sent me that picture through text message, I forgot all about that. For
Did
anybody in
you?
chat
That's one of
listening,
my favorite ones.
yeah, I for anybody who's listening or watching, I used to do some modeling, and I did a lot of photo
And
shoots
acting.
at Grador and acting. And I did some photo shoots at Grey Door, and I did a photo set as a Joker because it's one of my favorite villains of all time. Lo sent me a picture, and I completely forgot that I even did that shoot. Completely
No, you
forgot.
should can you put it up on the screen? What I love about this picture is you came
There
out
we
so fucking creepy.
go. Yeah, I like when you sent me this picture, I was just blown away. I was like, wow. I just completely forgot about that, dude. I completely forgot about that.
This shoot happened on one of the days that you did not have a late shift. You had like the second shift.
Okay.
It was because you swap with somebody because somebody
Mhm.
needed coverage.
Yeah.
So you came into the studio, we're all talking and stuff, and then we were all kind of talking about the kind of photo shoots we want done.
Mhm.
And we were talking about superheroes. And
Yeah.
then you're like, "Oh, I'd love to do a Joker one, this and that thing." I said, "So why don't we do it?" He goes, "Really? We could do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it now." And you're like, and your voice, I remember your voice cracked. Like, "We could do it now." And then Annabelle set you
Oh,
up, and then we took a test shot, right? And you were
yeah.
like, it's missing something. And then you were like, "Oh, I know. Ha 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 ha, my knuckles." So you're actually the first one to ever do that, not Jared Leto.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. That's crazy. Jared Leto stole my idea.
Yes.
I gotta talk
And
to that man.
and that was the airsoft gun. I think it was airsoft, or it might have been the
Okay.
plastic pellet one.
Yeah.
That was like in so many photo shoots because some people wanted a gun in a photo shoot, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, well, I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's
Off
cool,
to
I guess.
your off to the left, if you were able to extend the picture, is where we used to have the police lineup. Remember the police lineup we used to have on the wall?
Oh, yeah, 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 I remember that, yes.
Yeah. So we took about like 30 pictures, maybe 40.
Wow.
And this one was one of your favorites. But this one I remember that when you had your hand crossed over, you would twist the your cards. So I had to hold your hand in place. I'm like, don't move it, don't move it, don't move it. And
I remember that. I
I
remember
remember
that.
forgot what I told you, like something stupid, right? And then you smiled, and then I kept aiming the camera at you and not saying anything, and then you got a little annoyed at me, and that's when this look came out.
That's actually really hilarious, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
but you stayed in character, and I love this is like one of my favorite shoots in the studio because you just have this you came across so creepy in the pictures. I was like, "Yo, he got into character. He got
For
into
any
character."
for anybody who's listening to the audio version of this, it is just go to YouTube and watch the live version or the video version of this. It's literally me with the Joker paint on, with the cards, the haha on the hand, and like my version of a gun that Joker would carry. Basically, it's freaking amazing. If I can't wait. I can't. You know what? We're definitely going to do for the 100th episode of JHouze. We're going to do a look back at some of our greater moments and just some of our moments with JHouze in general. I think that's going to be a fun episode.
Now that we've warmed up and we want to talk about Ahsoka, as always, our formula is spoiler free at first, and then spoiler full at the end.
Mhm.
And we always start out with our overall general review with no bunnies. Um, opinion on the show. So now that everyone's caught up, what is your overall opinion on the show?
My
Good or
overall
bad?
good or bad, my overall opinion of Ahsoka. Um, I wanted a little more Ahsoka. I felt like this wasn't her show. I felt like she was more like a secondary background character. I felt like the show was about everybody else but her. Maybe the first few episodes we got a little bit of a deep dive into her mind a little bit, but I felt like after the episode where she had that little flashback with um
Anakin?
Darth Anakin, I felt like after that episode she kind of disappeared, in my opinion, and the show just wasn't about her anymore. You know what I mean? Like, did you get that vibe, or is that just me?
For episodes, how was it 7 episodes in the series or 6?
I think it was 8 actually.
8? Hold on. Do. IMDb, I choose you. Uh, damn it, where's the episode list? Here we go. Episode 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So, in 5 or 6, I definitely would agree with you. In 5 or 6, she was, like, almost barely there.
Mhm.
But in the rest, I felt like she was pretty present, or if not present, important.
Okay.
My whole opinion is, at the end, I was like, "That's it? There's not another episode coming?"
Yeah. Yeah. I was
It
actually a little confused, yeah, about that.
I mean, I know why they did it that way, and I'll go over that in the review, but I did enjoy it, but I just kind of felt Ahsoka was an Ahsoka, because if you look at the Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, she was very different. And
Mhm.
again, her outfit,
Mhm.
just
Yeah, I
because
do remember you
it didn't
saying.
match what
Yeah.
we seen previously. But I mean, like I said, minor things. Overall it was pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I think just outside of that, I mean, I just thought it was okay. Honestly, I thought it was an okay show. It wasn't bad. Had a few good dogfight scenes here and there, a few good lightsaber battles here and there. I felt like it was a little, in my opinion, I just felt like it was a little too dependent on the other characters around Ahsoka, and it just kind of, I feel like Ahsoka just kind of fell into the background, and I wanted to see more of her. That's the reason why I was so excited about this show, and I felt like she kind of disappeared. So, but overall, um, just off the top of my head, I would have to say it was a pretty good show. Pretty good show. I wouldn't rewatch it. I would recommend it. Obviously, there were a lot of things in the show that um were very different for a Star Wars standpoint, like with the witches and things like that, and some of the things that were going on with them. That was very interesting and very dark compared to what we've been used to seeing, especially in like live action. But I actually did like that aspect of it. So, all right, now you. What was your first initial thoughts of Ahsoka?
Um I felt like the first episode, like I didn't feel like I was watching a first episode. I feel like I was watching a second episode. Like I feel there was something missing in the
Okay.
beginning. And mind you, I watched the Mandalorian episodes where she was in first before I watched the first episode, thinking
Mhm.
maybe it would flow a little bit.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt like there was a story missing, you know? Like, how does she wind up on that Jedi shuttle? How does she wind up with what's his name? The bot. Hu Yang.
Oh yeah,
Uh
yeah, yeah. He rang.
how did she wind up with him? Like that just like that threw me for a loop because if you looked at it in the Clone Wars, he is the droid that has been around since the First Republic, and
Yeah,
he helped all Jedi build their lightsabers. So he's
yeah,
thousands of years old.
mhm,
And I just kind of felt like, okay, when did that happen? Like there was no hint of that previously.
yeah,
So it just the curiosity of I felt like something was missing.
yeah,
But I did think all the characters grew, uh, even Ahsoka. But I missed the funny Ahsoka.
yeah. I mean, me being somebody who didn't watch much of the Clone Wars before watching this show, did feel that she was a little bland, and I didn't have much experience with her previous character, from the animation. But I did feel like her character was just a little too laid back for me, almost as if like she was just, ah, I'll take care of that later. I'll fight that bad guy later.
She
Everything's
felt
okay.
like a
It's okay.
monk. She felt like a
Yeah,
monk.
yeah. It just felt like okay, like I don't know. I just wanted a little more from her. She was just a
Yeah.
little too laid back for me. I don't know. I was expecting a little more from her character, and based off what you told me, how she was very sarcastic in the animation. Knowing that and watching the show, I'm like, wow, they really did a complete 360 with this character because she is nowhere near sarcastic in this show. I mean, she might throw a line or two in there, but like not at all. Like that is not her character for the show.
The best way I could describe it is she felt like she was Obi-Wan's Padawan and took a lot of his personality traits as opposed to Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah, yeah,
Because, with Anakin, there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of funniness and sarcasm and, there was that brother-sister love
yeah,
there, and, but when she was with, Obi-Wan, it was very almost father-daughter,
yeah,
where they were a little more quieter, a little more stoic, and so that is kind of the feeling I got from it, which
yeah.
I thought was weird, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it was a little weird, honestly. But I mean, other than that, I think her presence as Ahsoka, just like the way she, like the look and feel of her character was okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, the clothing was a little awkward, like you said. Her pants looked like MC Hammer pants.
Yeah. Can't touch this. Do, 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 do,
Yeah,
do.
it
Sorry.
was it was a little weird. It was a little weird. I do have a question though. And this is not getting in too much into spoiler territory. This is just basic thoughts of the show. What were your thoughts on the special effects?
I think they were all pretty good. There was one shot that I thought was terrible.
Okay.
Just one that you could see from a mile away. They're like, "Oh, we ran out of time. Just throw this in there."
Oh, well, is that like a spoiler shot? You can't really speak on that one?
Well, it's the one time she jumps out of the Jedi shuttle onto a planet.
I don't
When we go
remember.
into the spoiler parts, I can get more into detail which planet.
Okay. Okay. I think I might know what you're talking about, but yeah, I might need a little bit more details. For me, I thought the special effects were pretty good. There might have been a few shots here and there where I'm like, oh, okay, I think I see the green screen. Not really, but I mean, I thought overall it was pretty good, but there were a few shots where I did see some of the limitations, honestly. But I think overall, I think they did a great job. I think they did a really great job. Um, I didn't like the stuff where, like, I hate when they try to use Jedi's to go one on one with like a Tie fighter. Like, I don't like those scenes. I just think it looks just very unrealistic, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I didn't really
Well,
like that scene.
I know where that comes from. There's a lot of stories in World War II where soldiers would shoot down a plane, with their rifles, you
Yeah,
know, and things like that. So I understand where it comes from, and it's trying to give you this tension of like, oh my god, a Tie fighter's after them,
yeah.
or a spaceship is after them. And I get it, but I thought it was done pretty decently at one point, but at another point, I didn't think it was really like it just kind of felt like a repeat
Yeah, because I think they did it like 2 or 3 times
twice,
in the show.
twice.
Twice? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did it one time, I was like, "Oh, okay," that was kinda cool. Then did it again, I was like, "Alright, alright, 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 I get it."
yeah,
She can take down a TIE fighter, I get it,
yeah.
you know? So, um, let me see, what is your favorite or least favorite character from the show? You
Uh,
can give one of each or just one. It's up to you.
I was all pretty even about all of them. I
Oh,
will say that uh Ezra Bridger came across as a mature version of the character he did in Rebels. So for that reason, it's between him and Sin Hati are my
okay.
two favorites. And her for her presence, and him for the way he made the character come alive.
Okay. Okay. I will agree with you on one. Shin Hati was actually a really interesting character. I think mainly because she was very mysterious. We didn't know much about her. And I think her relationship with Baylan was once again something that was very mysterious and something that that really intrigued me.
At
Baylan is
one point, I
definitely
thought they were father and daughter.
that's what I was thinking too. I think a lot of people were probably thinking that. I watched a lot of videos where people were trying to break down their relationship, and a lot of people thought the same thing that maybe they're father and daughter. It's just they just have that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Honestly, Baylan is definitely my favorite character in the entire show. I like anytime that man was on that screen, I was just like, all right, I'm plugged in. I want to see what he has to say. And just some of the words of wisdom and just things that he said to Shin just really was like powerful. Like he demanded your attention whenever he was on that screen. Um,
What I liked about him was he was neither good nor evil.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I thought he was coming into the show was like, oh, here's the big baddie. You know what I mean? And then when we saw him, it was like, oh, okay, I don't really know what to think of this guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And the line that made you think that was when he says, "Oh, Ahsoka, thank God you're alive. There's so few Force users left in the universe." And
Yeah,
it's kind of like and he said it in such a way you 100% believe him. You didn't feel like it was sarcasm. You're like
exactly.
"Is he good? Is he bad?"
Yeah, yeah. I was literally thinking that the entire time that I was watching this show. I was like, I don't know what to think of this guy.
Yeah.
It's just very, very intriguing. But yeah, Baylan is definitely. I was not expecting him to be, but Baylan is definitely my favorite character in the show next to Shin. Um, I think my least favorite character would have to be Sabine. Um,
Really?
only because I was starting to get what's the one Jedi that everybody like hates nowadays in Star Wars universe? Um, from the most recent trilogy, what's her name again?
Oh, Ray.
Ray. She was low key giving me Ray vibes for a while because she comes in here and she's Mandalorian, which is cool, which is great. And then one second she barely knows how to use her powers. The next minute she's like forcing everybody left and right, and she's like amazing with the lightsaber. It's like one minute she knows how to fight, next minute she doesn't really have confidence. She doubts herself. The next minute she's amazing. I was just like really confused with like her character. I was like, where is her skill level? Is she a Jedi? Is she not really a Jedi? Like I was just getting really confused with like her skill level in the show.
Okay, and that's more from because you haven't watched Rebels. Because if you watch Rebels, her character's pretty spot on.
Okay.
Um, her abilities really go with her confidence. So when she's feeling very confident, she is full blown Mandalorian who was trained with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because at one point she held the dark saber and she
Really?
was trained with the dark saber. That's how she learned how to use a lightsaber. She got trained with the dark saber,
Okay.
and then she handed it over to oh, what's her name? The one from the Mandalorian, Bo Katan.
Bo-Katan. Okay.
So she gave the lightsaber to Bo Katan, and that's why in the Mandalorian she didn't want, and things went bad for her. That's why
Mhm.
she didn't want to accept the lightsaber from Din Djarin. He was like, "Here, you can take it,"
Uh,
and she was like, "No, no, 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 no. I did that once. It didn't work well for me. I have to earn it."
so that where that comes from.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're right in the sense of like her skill levels go up and down, but it was, and I can't even go further because then that goes into the spoiler territory. But
Okay.
but something happened, and then through that, she realized, you know, that she's okay, and that she was like, "Alright, I could do this."
Okay. I
Because
feel like we're gonna
the thing about Star Wars is when people are, I don't wanna say force sensitive, but when people learn to use the Force, it's
mhm.
like a switch. Like, that's the history in Star Wars, where it's like a switch. I don't know how to use it, I'm like everyone else,
Yeah.
but I have good insight, and then there's that switch that's flicked on, and they know how to use it. And, she's had the training, but she wasn't able to tap into it, but once that switch was flicked, she was like, "Okay, now the training makes sense, now I know how to do it." So I
Okay.
felt like I felt like it followed very much not only Star Wars canon, I felt like it very much followed her character as we've seen it
Okay.
throughout the Star Wars universe. But your opinion is 100% valid in the sense of it goes up and down according to her confidence level. So,
Yeah.
you're right.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, so I think that is a good point for us to jump into spoiler territory. Once again, guys, this is the spoiler section of Ahsoka that we're going to jump into. So we're going to like put it all out there. So unfortunately, if you don't want to know, if you're watching the audio version, fast forward. If you're watching us live, go get a quick snack. Come back in a little bit, and we'll let you know when we're done with the spoilers. All right, Los, go in, have at it.
Okay, first, I wanna talk about the casting. There were several people from other sci-fi shows that were in Ahsoka.
Okay, which ones
Alright,
were that?
so we'll start with Claudia Black. Claudia Black was in, Pitch Black, she was in Farscape, and she was in Stargate. She was the head witch.
Oh, okay, okay. Alright. She does look
So,
familiar. She does look familiar. I was like, "Man, I've seen her in something before. I just didn't know what." But yeah, you're right. She is.
Stargate. In Pitch Black, she was the one who got cut in half.
Yeah, I did remember that. I watched that movie like a billion times. I freaking love that movie.
I like Chronicles of Riddick better.
Yeah, Chronicles of Riddick is a lot better. It's literally the best out of I think they made 3 movies? I think so,
Yes,
yeah.
I still haven't watched the 3rd one fully.
Me neither. I figured it was gonna be corny anyway, so I never watched it.
No, it was good. It was just that every time I watch it, like, someone interrupts me, someone calls me, I gotta go do something, and I'm like, "Why is it always at this particular part of the movie?"
Alright, so then we gotta do a Discord, like, watch party one day then, just so we can sit down and watch it.
Yes, and Captain Enoch, you know who that is? That's the stormtrooper with the golden face?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He's played by Wes Chapman, who was in The Expanse.
Wes Chapman. I'm trying to see if I see that. Oh, I know him. Okay, wow. Good casting.
Yes,
Good casting.
he was in the cast as Amos.
Okay. That's a good casting,
So,
right?
I liked seeing that, you know, Star Wars and Star Trek grabs people from other, sci-fi series. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like the person who played Ezra Bridger, I think, damn, someone told me this, but I don't know if it's true, and I want to look it up before I say anything. Someone told me that he was in Aladdin,
You know what? Knew he looked familiar. I was
but
like, "Man, I've
I'm looking
seen
at
him
his
somewhere."
credits, and he's not there.
Let me see. I've seen him in something fairly recently because yeah, he's not in Aladdin. I thought that too. It's so funny you say that because I literally thought I was like, "Is that the guy from Aladdin?" Because he looks so familiar. I don't know
They
what I saw him in.
they're just the same type, casting type.
Yeah.
All right, the other thing, the the everyone made such a big deal about the Inquisitor,
Okay.
the guy with the dual red lightsabers, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, that's Ahsoka. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that." And I knew from the beginning he was gonna be nothing important. And the reason why is Star Wars always does a bait and switch.
Yeah, I was kind of upset about that one. Cuz he like what, he went and like wait, actually no, did he die or did he just run away?
No, he died. Okay,
I forgot.
remember when Ahsoka cut into him and then all this green gas came out and then he just fell apart?
I think so. Damn, I don't know why the first few
Alright.
episodes feel like like a blur to me right now at this point. Time, man, time's crazy.
So what happens is in, a Clone Wars, you find out that the Night Sisters can raise the dead and essentially make a zombie army. So he
Oh,
was
yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
zombies.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, because that leads into later in the, series where the
When they have
zombies
all
are
those
gathered.
coffins. When they have all
Yeah.
those coffins, gonna turn them Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to have a zombie army.
Yeah, yeah. That part of the series I thought was amazing. Like when we had zombie stormtroopers like come out, I was not expecting that, and I thought that was a great touch. It was very different, for the franchise, and I thought that was freaking amazing. I loved it.
What I liked is it's the first time ever that I saw zombies done in sci-fi and done very well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
normally it's very cheesy, but these guys are like they move funky, but they still have all their abilities, you
Yeah,
know?
it's so funny you say that because I was literally thinking the same exact thing. When I saw them come back as zombies, I was like, here we go. This is gonna start getting cheesy." Like I immediately thought that in my mind, and like you said, it wasn't. It was done well. It was very tasteful. It wasn't corny, and they didn't like move like just all weird. Like they did make that sound and move a little weird, but it was it wasn't done in a weird kind of way. It was done very well. I liked it.
The best way I could describe it is they move stiff, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like they slept in their armor and got up and like, "Oh, I gotta go." Like
I
that's
I
the
didn't
best way I could describe it, Like it wasn't bad. It was done really, really well.
What was your favorite or least favorite episode?
Uh the second one.
The second episode.
Yeah, because he spent all that time in the hospital, you know?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that they recreated the painting from the end of what do you call it? At the end of Rebels.
Mhm.
That was awesome, but at the same time I was like, eh. I did like how they referenced samurai throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
Like the cutting of the hair, the fact that um Grand Admiral Thrawn referred to her as a Ronin Jedi, you
Yeah, I did
know,
like that.
like things like that I really did enjoy. The one thing I did not like was that Ahsoka wasn't as tough as she should have been.
Yeah, that was kind of, Legion said my is my mic acting up or something?
For me, you've been coming in clear.
Oh, okay. I don't know what Legion was referring to. What's up, by the way, Legion? How you doing?
What's up, Legion?
Yeah, that actually did kind of throw me off a little bit too, where there were certain segments in the show, which I get sometimes the hero has to be, broken down a peg or two, but I did get kind of thrown off where there was a lot of scenes where I felt like she was just like just overpowered like a lot in this show, a little more than usual, than I expected her to be. So,
Where I expected her to match, what's his name again?
Thrawn,
The
I mean not Thrawn,
no, Baylan. I
Baylan,
expected
yeah,
her to match Baylan in their second fight,
yeah,
but he was still able to beat her.
hmm
And in universe, it makes sense because he had full Jedi training and she didn't. But
hmm
she has spent so much time out in the real world that I figured she should be equal to him. Not
yeah,
beat him, but equal.
at least be equal, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know. It was just weird. It was very weird how she was like, because at that point, like you said, I was expecting her. Like I thought she was going to kill Balin, like in that second fight.
I never thought that.
You didn't think that? I thought she was. I was actually getting a little worried. I was like, I don't want her to kill this guy. I want her to come back for like a season two or something like that, because he's such an awesome character,
It's a
But
shame
yeah,
he passed away.
I know. I just found that I was really upset about that. Really upset about that. Rest in power to him and his family for sure, man. because that guy's awesome. Um, but yeah, my favorite episode, I would probably have to say the episode where it was a flashback with her and Anakin, which I
Oh,
believe
I
was
loved that. I loved that.
yeah, that was which episode was that? I forgot which episode that was. It might have been episode 5, Shadow
Yeah,
Warrior.
I loved
That
it.
was that episode actually, I don't know if you knew, that episode was actually released in certain movie theaters to watch.
Yes.
I was actually looking for it. There was no movie theaters near me that was playing it. I was very upset about it because I was actually planning on going to watch that in a movie theater.
That would have been a
um,
good thing to watch.
yeah, it really would have been. But yeah, I thought that was just amazing. It's always good to see Anakin come back. It's always great to see Darth Vader. I think the cinematography they did in that episode, where Anakin was walking and it was flashing back and forth between him as Vader and then him as Anakin, I thought that was amazing. It was just great to see that development, especially if somebody has not watched anything Ahsoka related before now and didn't know much about Ahsoka. It was great to see that development and that relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka through the years, from when she was a kid to where she, basically where she is now. It's like I wanted to see more of that. I wish we had a little bit more of that, but I figured we were only going to get but so much.
Well, okay, so here's some details you may not know. There is a cut scene in the flashback.
Okay.
So, if you look at the episode when Anakin kicks her and then she winds up from the battlefield and then in the world between worlds, there's a cut scene in between there. So, in that cut scene, supposedly it's almost a repeat of her fight with Vader uh, when they fought in Rebels, because Ahsoka actually fought Darth Vader.
Okay.
So that was interesting. You know,
In Rebels, you're saying? In Rebels that happened?
she fought Darth Vader.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
So, so yeah, so there's a cutscene there. The world between worlds, it was good. I like the fact that it came back again because that was also in Rebels.
Yeah.
Because initially Darth Vader had killed Ahsoka, but um, what's his name? Excuse me. Ezra pulled her out of that moment and then
Yeah.
dropped her back 5 years later.
Oh wow.
Oh, dropped
Okay.
her back. I'm sorry, a little bit after. So he saved her and then put her back, and then uh, that's how she was able to move forward. So all these characters are so intertwined so intricately that if you don't know the history, you're like, okay, why does Ezra and Ahsoka give each other a big hug?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
and
I
it's
I figured
because
they had
he
a big
saved her.
relationship.
No, they actually didn't have a real big relationship in the show.
Yeah.
She trained him a little, she spoke to him a little, she guided him, more like a big sister giving advice,
Yeah.
but, he saved her, so now it's her saving him, you know,
Hmm.
and that's why there's that big love between them.
Okay. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I did not like the way Sabine and Ezra meet each other again. He was just like, "So, how you doing?" Like, he saw her last week. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it should have been like, like a funny line, a big hug. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Blah 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 blah. So that was a little. I thought it was a little weak.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
I
I felt that, but I felt like maybe I felt like it was done purposefully just for them to be sarcastic with each other. But then I was like, all right, you two are taking way too long to hug each other.
Yeah,
Like, get in there. Like, you went on this long adventure to save this guy. Like, why are you sitting there staring at him? Go give him a hug. You
yeah.
know?
What I did like is they made Ezra look like his father.
Oh, he looks like his father. Okay.
Yeah, because in the Rebel show they have one picture of him as a little kid,
Yeah.
uh, his mother and his father, and Dave Filoni went a step, like he really upped his game and said, "All right, let's make Ezra look like his dad," because a lot of people look like their father. You know,
Yeah.
most men look like their fathers as they get older. Like I'm one of the
Mhm.
rare exceptions. I came out more like my mother's side.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, so it's like there's those little touches there that you know, that really like raised the level of the show for me. You
Okay.
know, the one thing I did not like was the floor turns into a table.
The floor turn. What scene was that? The floor turns into a table. I don't
Okay,
remember that.
remember the room where they do all their training?
Okay.
At one point, the floor comes up and it becomes a table and chairs
How come I don't remember that?
because you don't pay attention to those things.
I don't remember that. I do not
This is
remember that.
I can picture you doing this, drinking your coffee or whatever, going, "There's no lightsaber man over there. Let me go look at my phone." And
No,
as soon as you hear, "Shh," you're like, "Okay, cup down. Let's see what's going on."
definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, I don't remember that for some reason. I don't know
Well,
why.
I didn't
I've
like
been
it
watching
because
a lot of movies.
I didn't like it because I was like, "Yo, like, who wants to eat off the floor?"
Come on, out of all the things we see in movies and TV shows nowadays, I'm pretty sure that is not the least sanitary thing that we've ever seen before.
Yeah, but it's
Honestly,
stuck in my head.
like who wants to eat off the floor? Oh man,
It's not even a wipe down or anything, like a laser cleaner, like, come on.
some sanitizer or something.
Something.
Some Jedi sanitizer maybe.
Some Jedi Mistoline, something, you know?
Yo, I do have a quick question though. Which is I've been it's been killing me to figure out why. Why do you think Baylan let like Shin go? Like I think it was maybe episode maybe the seventh episode, maybe, where Baylan is like, all right, you're gonna go on your own now. I'm gonna go do my thing. I'm gonna figure out what's out there for me, and I want you to grow and develop and evolve by yourself. Like why? Why
No,
do you
no,
think
no,
he let
no.
her go?
Okay. You have to look at it in the sense of what is the force? Understand? Everyone's path in the force is different. Understand? He said, "This is my journey. This is
Yeah.
as far as I can go with you. Go follow your own path. You're ready." No different than any Jedi master letting their Padawan go. I've brought you this far. It's as far as I can take you. You're ready for your trials. Go.
I get that, but just like maybe a few fights before that, he was literally telling her like you let your anger overtake you too much. You need to like relax, you need to calm down. And like that's something he mentioned to her like once or twice. And then like not too long after that, he's like, all right, I'll see you later. Like I like why did he think that at that moment? Like, I mean, I get what you're saying about hey, sometimes you gotta let your Padawan, go. You gotta like get out the nest and eventually fly. But why in that particular moment when everything was hitting the fan, when everything was getting real, why at that moment? He could have let her go any other time. He could have let her go after the battle and everything and the war was done when they killed Ahsoka, whatever you want to call it. But why in the midst of all the mayhem, when he knew that she had a temper that would probably potentially have her killed?
Two reasons. Okay. One, it was in the script. Okay. Uh,
You must say this to her, whether
all
she's
right.
ready
And,
or not.
and two, okay. Do you know who the Mortis gods are?
The negative.
Okay. The Mortis gods are the gods of the Force. There is the father, who is neither good nor bad, the daughter, which is good, and her symbol is the owl. That's why owls kept showing around Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then there's the son, who is the dark side of the Force.
Okay.
Okay. So Balin was there to do something with the Mortis gods. What Balin doesn't know is the daughter is dead and her life force brought Ahsoka back to life. Yes, that's in the Clone Wars.
Mm,
The son um, at one point corrupted Ahsoka, but he's dead and the father's dead. So now Anakin has become the Mortis god. Anakin has become the father. He is both neither good nor evil because he filled both roles. As Anakin, he was good, and as Darth Vader, he was bad, or light
okay.
or dark, however you want to word it.
Okay.
So he's there to try to do something with the Mortis gods, but he doesn't know that they're dead. They're gone.
Mm, okay.
So his ultimate power, because remember, he's on a quest for ultimate power to stop all wars and restart everything anew. No longer will there be, Jedis and Padawans, Sith and their alkalites. Like he really he's in it for ultimate power. While you have Shin, who is into military power, you know, like to be someone powerful in the empire. And there's two completely different views, and they can only go together for so far.
Okay.
So but the way he lets her go is no different than if you have a little brother, you know?
Yeah.
Like you help your little brother until he's ready to go to college, and you give him advice up until the moment he leaves. And once he's gone, you're like, "Well, I hope the motherfucker listens." You know?
Give me a call. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah. So I felt it was that, where it's like I helped as much as I can go to college. And college for you is try
Yeah.
to take over the universe. When him
Very
is to try to take over everything more than the universe, life itself.
very true. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I was just curious about that because that was racking my brain when I saw that where he just let her go. I was really confused about like, hey, like, what are you doing? We got things going on here. We're in the middle of a battle. Like we're trying to get Ahsoka. Like why are you letting her go? But all right, cool, cool. My last question.
Okay, shoot.
What impact do you think this show is going to have on the future of Star Wars canon from here on out?
I, I actually know that answer. Okay,
I
so
was hoping you did.
there is going to be a Grand Admiral Thrawn movie. Okay. Uh,
Really? That's been confirmed?
yes, yes, been confirmed. Rise of the Empire. The side on the good guys is going to be Ahsoka, Din Djarin, um, what was Baby Yoda's name again? Grogu
Grogu?
Djarin,
Yeah.
Grogu Djarin, and the Skeleton Crew.
Okay.
Also Sabine is going to be there also, and Hera and Ezra. So, and there is rumors that they might add Luke Skywalker. I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think they should.
No, I think they should,
I don't know.
because I've never read the books, but everyone has talked about it so much. I know these facts.
Okay.
In the book, you have Luke Skywalker's wife, who's in the book, and you have Luke Skywalker, who plays a pivotal part in the whole story. So, but the thing is, Lucasfilms has this thing of we're not going to recast anybody anymore because of what happened with the Han Solo movie. But
Yeah.
I think that's a big mistake. I think
Or
it's a
not
huge mistake.
or not recast him like a young Luke.
You know who they should cast? The
Who?
guy who plays the Winter Soldier. He looks he looks like Luke Skywalker.
Uh
He's the right age that Luke would be in these movies.
I gotta look
He
him up
has
again.
he has the physical training. He is physically fit. He's already done all this fight choreography stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not a stretch for him to learn lightsabers, sword fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe.
did you look him up?
Yeah, we're talking about Sebastian Stan.
Yes.
Ah, you know what? He does look like a Luke. You're absolutely right.
Well,
I take that back.
here's the whole thing about him. Um, at one point, there was major rumors that he was going to take over the part of Luke Skywalker, and he tweeted, he goes, "The only way I will take this part is if I get Mark Hamill's blessing." So Mark Hamill tweeted back, "I don't own Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker belongs to the fans. And if people think that you should be Luke Skywalker, you have my blessings."
Wow. That's pretty big on him.
Yeah,
That's pretty big. I mean, for Luke Skywalker himself to like give you a blessing, that's a pretty big deal.
yeah.
It's a
And,
pretty
and
big.
I do think he really should be cast as Luke.
Yeah. If I will 100% like I take back my gasp. He looks like Luke Skywalker. He does.
He does.
I'll give him that. Sebastian Stan, Mr. Winter Soldier himself, goes to space and becomes the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the other thing I was talking about with Ahsoka acting like Obi-Wan's Padawan, right?
Yeah.
If you look at Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy, in Return of the Jedi, he is acting exactly you expect Obi-Wan's Padawan to act. And that's what Ahsoka is mimicking.
Okay. Makes sense.
I mean,
Makes
correct
sense.
me if I'm wrong.
No, it makes sense. You're right. Actually.
You know,
Now
uh,
that I
I,
think
I
about it.
okay. So I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
All right, what is your jump the shark moment from this show?
Jump the shark moment. Oh, you mean jump the ship?
No, jump the
Oh,
shark. You know what jump the shark means?
I never heard of that phrase. I
Yeah,
heard jump the ship, but not jump
no,
the shark.
it's jump the shark. In television, that means it actually comes from Happy Days, the TV show Happy Days, where Fonzie jumps his motorcycle over a tank of sharks. It's really stupid.
Okay.
So the term, what it means is when did the show go off the rails to a point where you're like, what the fuck? You know?
Um,
So for
I
you,
don't
what
really
was the jump the shark moment?
I don't really think it was I don't think there was a moment in the show where I jumped the shark. I just think that when I talked to you about earlier where her character just seemed very Ahsoka's character just seemed very dull, that's when I started to get a little bored. I wouldn't really say jump the shark because like I was still into the show. I was ready to I was willing to see where it was going to go and where the story was going to lead us to. But I do think that there were just moments where Ahsoka's character did make me feel like maybe I would jump the shark sooner or later. But I think that's probably what it was for me. It's just Ahsoka's character was just really bland at times. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't making me intrigued to want to like say, oh man, I can't wait to see what she's gonna do next. You know, I felt like I was more just focused and intrigued on every other character in the show except for Ahsoka, except for when she had like her big moments, obviously. But
All right.
outside of that, yeah.
Do you know what mine was? When
What?
she jumps in a spacesuit and has a
Oh
lightsaber and is
yeah.
fighting and using fighters. And she's doing flips on top of the ship. In outer space, if you push off, you keep going. But no, no, no.
You're gonna fly
There's
away.
there's this magical gravity that works.
And that's why I told you I hate when people that was one of the scenes that I hated when she's like standing on a ship fighting the freaking deaths. I mean, fighting the TIE
The
fighters.
fighters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate that. That's just it's stupid to me. I don't know why they keep doing that. They did it in the most recent trilogy where freaking I keep forgetting
Ray.
her name where Ray like jumped over the freaking TIE fighter. I'm like, come on. Like why are we doing this? Stop doing it, Star Wars. George Lucas, stop doing it, please.
The
It's
you know the
stupid.
one thing I didn't like? I I'm a little annoyed at Star Wars is they stopped doing I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh yeah. I haven't heard that in a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah. The only one character that did it was, the green-haired kid. The little kid? Hold on,
The
I'll tell you
gr-
his name in a second.
the
Yeah, Jason
green
Syndulla?
green hair. Who character? Let me see.
Yeah.
I don't remember what character he was.
Oh my god, hold on one second. Bro, I'm telling you, you just wait for the lightsaber sound. When Hera had her son on the ship,
Oh, he had green hair? I don't remember
he
his
had
hair being
green
green.
hair.
I don't even
Boy,
remember.
you really do wait for the lightsabers and the blasters to go on, don't you?
Nah, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff when I'm watching movies, I guess, man. But yeah, I don't know. I just
Listen, I'm surprised Dark Legion isn't jumping on you going, "Oh, if you we need to start playing lightsaber sounds for you to pay attention."
yeah, seriously. Just put lightsaber sound in the background. I'll watch things. I promise. Just put
So anyway, he kind of said it. He was like, "Mom, I'm not sure. This feels bad to me."
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Maybe that was just their way of doing it, but just adding a new spin on it. Possibly.
Listen, it's kind of like, in Star Trek when you go to warp, engage or beam me up. You know what I'm trying to say?
Beam me up, Scotty.
Vroom,
There it is.
vroom,
Legion.
tss.
Legion goes. Zoom, zoom. I'm all ears. I'm all ears,
Uh,
Legion.
yeah, like, that's one of the lines you look forward to when you watch Star Wars, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
And I just like, they kinda stopped using it, that kinda bothers me a bit, you know?
it's
Like,
probably new
that
direction, new writers. You know.
well, the Clone Wars, they did it a lot.
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they decided to go away from it. They're like, we don't want to do this anymore. We're gonna do something different. We want to like these new writers nowadays. Like, we want to add our spin to everything. We're not gonna follow this. We're not gonna follow lore. We're not gonna follow like the actual story of what this character is about. We're gonna do our own thing. So,
Yeah. So so you don't think there was a jump the shark moment?
nah, I wouldn't really say it. I don't. I think that's a little too steep for me to say. At least from my experience, I wouldn't say there was a jump to sharp moment. There were just a few moments where I'm like, why are we doing this? Like you said, like fighting on top of the ship, and like why?
Okay, is there anything in the show that seemed weird at first, but redeemed itself a little later?
Weird at wow, that's a good question. Weird at first, but redeemed itself later. I don't want to say it was weird, but I was a little worried about the whole. I mean, because like I said, I didn't know much going into the show, but I actually kind of liked that I didn't know much going into the show because I was able to just experience everything firsthand. The whole story with like the witches, I was worried about how that was gonna go. I don't want to say it felt weird. I was just a little like I was worried it was gonna be cheesy, because that's not something, at least from my experience with the Star Wars content that I've, consumed. That's not something I've really seen much in the Star Wars universe. Witches and magic, obviously, besides like the Force, just like magic and things like that, and spells. This is not something we're used to. And I was a little worried about that going into the show about how that was going to affect the storyline or just the show in general. And it worked so well, like you said earlier about like with the zombies and everything. Like, it worked so well. I loved it. It actually made me more intrigued in the show to continue to see more of it. And being that the show ended the way it ended, whether we get a season two, whether we get a movie, whatever it is, I'm actually really looking forward to the impact that the witches are going to have on the future content.
All right. Here's the thing. The witches were shown in the Clone Wars. So magic has existed in Star Wars for a while. And
Mhm.
it's magic with a K, not magic with a C.
Ooh,
So
that's different.
it yeah, because they I don't know, they explained it, but I don't remember it, where the Force is one thing and magic is something else, you know, derived from the Force, but it's not quite the Force. It was
Okay.
explained once, but I don't remember it, so I'm not gonna, like, have diarrhea of the mouth and try to make up something.
Okay.
Uh, so for me, what at first I was like, "Eh?" And then it redeemed itself was the star ring. What's it called? The hyperdrive ring.
Uh huh.
At first I was like, "Why have a stupid ring? Like, why not just build a ship?" Like, at first I was like, "This is so stupid." But then once I saw the what do you call those triangle ships?
Oh, the
Destroyer, Star Destroyer?
Star Destroyer. Yeah. No,
When the
it's
sta
yeah.
Yeah,
I
when
think
the
it is
Star
a Star
Destroyer
Destroyer. Yeah, I think it is a Star Destroyer.
well, when the
We could be
triangle
wrong.
ship, we'll call it a Star Destroyer. When it docked into the ring, I was like, "Oh, now it makes sense."
Yeah, it actually did. Like, because at first I was a little weirded out. I was like, okay, so we have a ring ship. Like, it did look a little weird. And then when it docked, I was like, that actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That and then it brought back to the fact of, the prequels where you saw Jedi ships use those rings to jump into hyperspace. So
Yeah.
okay, it all stayed within canon.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super cool.
Okay.
Uh
Okay.
so this Ahsoka season 2 is up in the air because of the movie. So they don't know if they're
Okay.
gonna do an Ahsoka season 2, right? And then the movie, or they're just gonna have Ahsoka show up in the movie and have some like dialogue going, "Oh yeah, we hitched a ride on a space whale. Done." You know, how they got back.
I thought that was a little at first, I thought that was a little weird at first, the space wells, but then it kinda, like I kinda got used to it after a while, but it was a little weird.
Again, that's something that showed up on Rebels.
I
Like, I
figured you
was
would.
glad me as a Star Trek fan, I know a lot about Star Wars because I do watch that stuff,
Mhm.
and I was glad I came into it knowing all that because at no point was I scratching my head.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did hate the Night Sisters' makeup design.
Yeah, I thought it was
Hated it,
weird. It was a little weird, honestly.
but
I don't know why. It just I wish they just did something a little different. It was a
it
little
looked
weird.
it looked like bad Halloween makeup.
Bad Halloween makeup.
No, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
yeah.
But
Like they like put on some makeup, fell asleep with the makeup on, woke up and just went outside and just smeared it
yeah,
everywhere when they were in bed.
or you pregame too hard and you're like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna throw
Uh,
this on." Okay. Uh, but it matched the cartoon, so I can see why he did it, but
okay.
I didn't think the design translated very, very well in real life, in live
Okay.
action. What did you think of the fight choreography?
I thought
Like,
it was a
what did you
little
like? What did you dislike? Things like that.
um I thought it was a little lackluster compared to most of the fights that we see in most other Star Wars shows and movies. It wasn't
Really?
bad. It wasn't bad. I don't wanna make it seem like it was, like, horrible. It wasn't bad. It was just I was being that it was Ahsoka, I was expecting a little more. I do think that the fight scene between, like, the final fight scene, it's between Ahsoka and, what's her name?
Oh, hold
Uh,
on a second. Uh,
IMDb, I choose you.
yeah, I have it up. Just give me a second. I gotta find her. Oh my god, I
Uh,
went too far.
uh, Elizabeth.
That
Morgan
was her name?
Elizabeth. Yeah, Morgan
Morgan.
Elizabeth.
Yes, 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 yes.
I think the fight
Elsbeth.
scene. Yeah,
Isn't it
Elsbeth.
Elsbeth?
Maybe. I don't know. Somebody in chat. Is it Elsbeth or is it Elizabeth? Just say number one if it's Elizabeth, number two if it's Elsbeth in chat. Um, I think the final fight scene between her and Ahsoka was actually pretty good. That's probably my favorite fight scene. The other ones were okay. You know, they weren't bad, but it was just for me, it was a little lackluster compared to what we're at least what I'm normally used to seeing in Star Wars universes. Honestly, the dog fights and stuff like that that was pretty cool, but the lightsaber thing was it was okay. It was all right.
E
What about
I
you?
I agree and disagree with you. Um, I think the first lightsaber battle with Sabine and, Sinhati, I thought that was terrible.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not good
It
at
felt like if you and I got drunk and we said, "Lightsabers!" That's literally what it felt like, you know?
all. Oh man.
Um, I thought the other ones got progressively better, and in the last one between Morgan and, Ahsoka, when I looked at her footwork, I was like, "Yeah, you can 100% tell she's a martial artist." Her
Mm,
footwork was flawless, her motions was, like, confident and well practiced,
yeah.
and, and you could tell the difference between a stunt person and Rosario Dawson for just I think it was, like, 1 or 2 shots
Okay.
because the fluidness of her motions was a little too good, you know,
Mm,
uh unless, it was Rosario Dawson the whole time, and those are, like, ones she really practiced, but Rosario Dawson did a really good job in the lightsaber battles, but you could tell the difference in skill level just from the footwork.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Think Diana Lee, Inosanto is not only a well-known martial artist, but she's trained in Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee's martial
Oh,
arts.
I didn't know
Her
that.
father took over for Bruce Lee. He took over Bruce Lee's school when Bruce died.
Wow, really?
That's who she is, yeah. She's trained in Eskrima, she's, trained in Kung Fu, she's trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, that woman is a hardcore martial artist, a hardcore fight choreographer.
Uh,
Like, that woman is no joke. Like, if she bitch slapped me in a bar and call me a pussy, I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am," and I'd walk away because I don't want my ass broken in two, you know? Like, that woman is the real deal, She's the real deal. She is not just an actress. She is a well-known martial artist and a well-known fight choreographer. She is no joke.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I could tell like in that last scene. I think that's why I love that last scene so much because when they were going at it, I wasn't expecting Morgan to like come at her like that. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. She whipped out the freaking sword, and I'm like, oh, she really about to go at Ahsoka. And then they actually did their thing, and it was a very competent fight. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
It's really
And you know
really
what? And what I liked about this battle as opposed to some of the original trilogy, um, like you saw some real skill, and I felt like their fight told a story.
yeah,
You
it
know,
did. It did.
in Empire, the lightsaber fight told a story, and in this one, it also told a story. In the other ones, I just kind of felt like they were fights.
So, with all that said and done, how many chocolate bunnies would you give Ahsoka season one?
Um, I'm going to give my rating, but with an appendix.
Uh
I
oh.
give it a 3.5 out of 5 bunnies, only because the show felt incomplete. Like the last episode happened and I was like, what's going on? It feels
Yeah.
like there should be another episode. That is the only reason why. If the last episode, if this was the second to last episode, it would be a 4, 4.2, you know?
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
But because it ended in such a question mark and not even a good one, I have to give it a 3.5. Better than
I
average,
mhm.
but missing something.
I would have to agree with you. I remember watching the last episode, and I literally after the episode went off, I went online and Google, is there another episode in Ahsoka? Because it was confusing. I was like, it felt like it wasn't a finale. It felt
Yeah.
like you said, I thought it was an episode before the last episode because of how much was happening, and then it's just like said, okay, we're done. It was a little confusing. It really was a little confusing.
What I did love about the last episode, and then I'll let you finish, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt,
Okay.
was Ezra showing up in Baylan's shuttle, because that's his shuttle now,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the way he revealed like, Chopper recognized him right away, and he took off his helmet. They're like, "Ezra?" And he's like, "Hi." I
Yeah,
love that. But again, that also made it feel like, is there an we should have another episode.
yeah. Yeah, it was a little it wasn't weird. And like Legion in chat said, it was kind of a I don't want to say a bad cliffhanger. I just think it's just like you said, it felt incomplete. You um
Like, if there was a
oh
season 2 teaser after that, then I think that would have been the cherry on the sundae that made you go, "Okay, we have another season coming." I could
yeah,
wait for it.
yeah. Now it's just like, okay, are we getting a show? Are we getting a movie? Or is this just it? What's happening here? I forgot to mention, we both actually forgot to mention C3PO made an appearance,
Yes,
which
but,
was nice. It was kind of nice.
what is the name of the actor for 3CPO? God damn it. IMDb, I choose you.
Yeah.
C3PO.
I wonder if he actually the actor who plays C3PO. Well, I think he was
He
in
did
this
the
one, but
voice. He did the voice.
I don't know if he was like in the outfit though.
Anthony Daniels. Anthony Daniels was not in the suit, and I'll tell you how
Okay.
I know. The neck was too thick.
He's
Anthony Anthony Daniels has a very unique physique. Not only is he does he have a thin frame, but he has a very thin neck. And
okay.
if you look at C3PO, and I thought I was crazy, and I looked up a couple reviews on that episode,
Yeah.
and a lot of other people pointed it out. The neck is much thicker, so it's a different actor. He's still doing the voice, but I don't think he can physically be in the suit anymore because he's pretty old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's up there in age. He's up there in
Yeah.
age. But that was a nice
He was
touch.
born
That was
he
nice.
was born in 1946.
Woo. Man, that man living his best life.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right. So my chocolate bunnies for this series, I would
He's
probably. I think.
77 years old.
Wow, man. Big ups to that guy. Big ups to that guy. That's a blessing to live that long. Um, I think this might be the first time that we both give literally the same exact chocolate bunnies for a show or a movie. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go for 3.5. I'm gonna go for 3.5.
But
Honestly,
is it for the same reason?
um, it's very similar. It's pretty much basically everything that I already spoke about. The simple fact that Ahsoka just felt a little just like in the background for me. And like you said, the open ended question that the show just ended on, like, hey, we're just gonna like end the episode here. We'll see you next time. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just
What's
stuck in this universe.
yeah, like what's going on? Like what's supposed to happen now? I think that was really for me that was really confusing. I think I don't know if that was just poor writing, if they purposely did that to give off a certain feeling. I don't know what they were doing. So that just left me confused. Um, Other than that, I mean, the show it wasn't bad. It wasn't the best Star Wars show that we've had. I mean, Mandalorian still holds that crown. Um, but yeah, I just think those were my gripes with it. Honestly, I would give it 3.5 chocolate bunnies for
I do
Ahsoka.
have one other gripe.
Okay,
Um, and it's small, but uh Ezra's lightsaber changed color. In the series, he had a green lightsaber. Because remember,
okay,
Sabine had his original lightsaber was green, and now it's blue. So now instead of being a Jedi, I think it's called counselor. Basically, a green lightsaber means you're focused on fighting. A blue one means you're a guardian, like you're guarding lightsabers. You're guarding the force, and everything around it in the meaning. Um and then the white ones are obedience to the force, you know? So that's why
okay,
Ahsoka's are white. Um, so I thought that was a little weird that they changed his lightsaber color, but cinematically it makes sense because you have, one green, Ahsoka in the middle with white, holding two lightsabers, and there's a blue one.
okay,
So cinematically it makes sense, but story wise, I'm curious why it changed color. Unless
okay.
all they had was a blue crystal, unless
Yeah,
that's all Ahsoka had.
maybe that's all it was, honestly,
Yeah,
you
maybe
know?
I'm overthinking it.
Probably, I don't know. But nah, maybe you're not, maybe you're not, because I mean, come on. It's a Star Wars universe. Nothing can be overthought. Um,
Oh, by the way, the orange lightsaber, it means strength.
okay.
So
What
if
what
you're
color would
curious
yours
about
be?
what colors would mine be,
Yeah, if
I,
you had a
I
lightsaber.
I'd probably be purple,
Yeah, okay,
purple or yellow. Purple's balance. So in other words, you're a good side person who uses some dark side tricks, or sentinel, someone who's more of a because the Jedi guards used yellow lightsabers because they were
okay,
about guarding sentinels.
okay.
So and you, what would it be?
White.
Obedience?
I'll be obedient. Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't
You
know,
can't pay attention to a show, man. Unless
That's
you hear,
has nothing to do with obedience. That has nothing to do with obedience.
yeah, you can't be obedient to the TV show. No,
Meaning
I'm
Samuel
just messing
Jackson's
with you.
lightsaber. Yeah, yeah, basically Samuel Jackson's lightsaber. Um, but yeah,
No, but I'm being serious. Yours would be white.
yeah, that's what I would go with. I think I'll go with white, honestly. So,
Okay.
would you be if you had a chance? Would you be light side or dark side? Would you be
No,
for the force?
I would be I would be
It's okay. This is a safe place.
I'd be more towards the light, but I know I would use a lot of dark side tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like because I do feel everything in life has to have balance, good and bad. For every great day you have, there's a bad day that came with it. For
Mm,
every lesson you've learned and become wiser, there's all the mistakes you made behind it to get you wiser. So for me, life is very much about balance. Like you had the really shitty girlfriend, and now you have the really good one, and you can keep the good one happy because, or you were able to spot the good one because you had the really shitty one.
yeah.
So I just kind of think everything in life has that balance, and but that's me. So that's why I think the purple one would be me, because
Okay.
I kind of think. Like, when I have a bad day, I'm just like, "Today's just a bad day, tomorrow will be better,"
Yeah.
you know? So,
Okay.
that's why.
Makes sense. Makes
Not
sense.
because purple's, like, the coolest fucking color, but because of
Yeah,
that.
man. I'm not here
Because
to
if we
judge.
were if we were going by, like, the coolest fucking color, I think I would take the green one because I think the green one looks so amazing. But,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
but for meaning, it would be purple.
For just color, just for the way it looks, I would probably go blue, honestly. And if I had to pick a side, I pick light and be dark on the weekends.
There's you with a lightsaber going, "Want some death sticks?"
Oh man. So all right, guys, that was our review of Ahsoka. We're gonna stay tuned for possible season two or film. I would prefer a film because we haven't had a Star Wars film in a very long time, and I think we're overdue. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our recommendations. Do you have any recommendations for the people today, Los, before we get out of here?
Excuse me 1 second. I'm sorry, like I said, like, I have a cold, and unfortunately, like, my burps hurt and, like, laughing hurts, so you gotta bear with me for a
Oh,
second.
nah, it's all
Uh,
good.
honestly, for, I don't know.
Okay.
I need a
I can
second to
go with
sort
mine.
something out, so could you go first?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I can go with
Yeah,
mine.
and as you're talking, I just need to kinda Google something here.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, for me, my recommendation would be actually a movie that I just recently watched called The Creator. I don't know if you heard about that one, Los.
No. Oh, that's the one
Uh,
with the little kid?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a robot?
yeah. I just recently watched it. It's amazing. It has John David Washington, who was in what movie was he in recently? What jeez, I forgot what movie he was in recently. But either way, it is a movie that is basically talking about what happens when AI decides to go rogue and decides to just all of a sudden launch nuke bombs on America, basically. And it's pretty much speaks to kind of like the conversation that we have today, basically. Like, oh, we're diving deeper into AI, and AI is getting smarter, and we're pretty everything is AI now, and
Yeah,
everybody's like worried about what's going to happen if AI decides to turn against us. This is basically what this film is about. It's basically about a soldier who is sent out to destroy the weapon that is in charge of the army force of AI that is trying to kill humans. This is a great film. It's actually a very emotional film. The special effects are amazing. Like with everything that we've been seeing in Marvel movies and DC movies, and having the lackluster special effects with some of these films, this has to be some of the best special effects I've seen in a movie in a very long time. Even when the humans who are like half robot, when you see them, you almost forget that you're looking at a human playing a robot. I'm looking at these robots and I'm thinking, oh, that's a robot. You know what I mean? And even some of the
yeah.
machines that move when they're running around with guns, they move so fluidly. Like it's just the motion capture. I don't know what they did, but it is impeccable. The motion capture, the special effects, it is impeccable. I can't even point out a flaw in the special effects in this film, as I would point out in like a Marvel film or a DC film or anything that's been out lately. But I would highly recommend this movie if you're looking for a great story. It's definitely a tearjerker for sure. There's some emotional moments in here, and I think it's just a fun time. I think it's a good flick. I think it's worth to watch. Honestly, I would say check it out. It's The Creator. It's out right now. I saw it in Dolby. Definitely check it out in Dolby. Check it out in IMAX. It's worth it, man. It's a great film.
Okay. Uh, mine is a YouTube channel. So, there's a subreddit on Reddit called, um, I think it's called Random Stories or Reddit Stories, and these typical Redditors, like, write up this huge long story for you to read, and a lot of the stories have been popping up on TikTok, and it's happened to pop up my YouTube feed. And a lot of them was like, "Oh, for the full story, go to my YouTube site." So this is the YouTube site. It's
Okay.
asn.random parentheses shtuf close parentheses. Uh
Okay.
ASN random stuff. That's the way if you pronounce it.
Okay.
Um, they literally take AI voices and actors, and they they act out um these stories. And the one I just finished listening to, let me pull it up, is called no, Why Do Humans Avoid War?
Wow. Okay.
And it is literally almost 4 hours. And when I tell you that you listen to all 4 hours and you're like, "Damn, this is a good story." And as you're listening to it, you're like, "I wish this was a miniseries," because the the story is so compelling, and
Yeah.
the AI voices and the actors they use with the pitch changing and everything else,
Yeah.
like, very well done. And so that is gonna be mine. Um, you know what? I'm gonna change. I'm just gonna, instead of saying the whole YouTube channel, I'm gonna say "Why Humans Avoid War" complete series. That's what it's called on YouTube.
Okay.
Uh, it is a different. It's a different person who does it. It's ADASTRA Astra. That is the YouTube channel that has that particular one.
Okay.
Um, but that's the one I think you should watch. "Why Humans Avoid War" complete series. Almost 4 hours long, and I tell you, you are hooked. Hooked, hooked, hooked. You have to get past the first 3 minutes of the setup. Then
Okay.
once you get past the first 3 minutes of the setup, boy, you are hooked, and you're like, "Man." And when it ends in such a way that you're like, "I know there's no sequel, but damn, I wish there was."
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. "Why Humans Avoid War" complete series. Absolutely worth a listen. If you've gotta drive to work, put that on, and your however long your commute is, 30 minutes, 40 minutes,
Yeah.
it'll feel like 5 because the story's so good and so compelling.
Wow. I might have to add that to my listening list because I always like to have like when I'm cleaning or working out, I like to have like a podcast or just something playing in the background, like an audio book or something like that. So definitely got to check that out for sure.
Essentially, this is an audiobook. I mean, most
Okay.
audiobooks are like 16 to 45 hours.
Yeah.
Um, and I do enjoy audiobooks, but this I enjoyed more than almost any audiobook I've ever listened to,
Wow.
other
That's
than The
deep.
Enterprise War. That
That's
audiobook I
deep.
loved. But this one, so good.
Okay. That's deep. Might have to check that out. Yeah. Definitely check
As a
that out.
matter of fact, I'm gonna email you the link.
You're gonna hate my
That is how good I think it is, that I really do think you should
Yeah.
listen to it.
Actually, yeah, drop that link in chat too for anybody who's watching live who wants to check it out for sure, just in case.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Side note, don't
Anyway,
forget any guys who's if you guys who are watching this live, hit that like button before we get out of here. Show the video some love. Legion say, or you can DM it on Discord to him. That too, whichever one.
uh, well, I just put it up in the chat right now.
Yeah, there you go. Yes,
I
guys,
haven't logged
check
to
it out.
Discord in so long that I'd sit there through updates, and that's such a headache because it takes
Yeah,
forever.
it's like 20,000 updates probably.
God, I hate
Uh,
that.
yeah. So yeah, guys, that concludes our episode, JHouze Radio, episode 90. Don't forget, guys, we are 10 episodes away from 100. We're gonna keep you guys posted for what we're gonna do on our 100th episode. But we do know for sure that we're gonna do it in person for the first time ever episode where Los and I are in the same room recording an episode of JHouze Radio. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. Like I said, it's gonna be probably in February by the time we do it. So look forward to that. If you guys listen to the audio version of this, don't forget
And
to
you
leave
might
us a review.
actually see KJ hand over the chocolate bunny he owes.
We'll do that live. We'll do that live. You know, I was waiting like this, like you guys didn't realize this whole time I was waiting to do this in person. You guys are like, where are the chocolate bunnies? Why
Sure.
haven't you get into Kara? Because I want to do it like live during a show, during a special event, you know, so you guys can like be there and just like cherish this moment, you know? Good things come to those who wait, you know? Sure. Legion says, "Sure." Come on,
Yeah, I
man.
agree with him.
You don't believe me?
I don't
Like,
believe you.
how do you not believe this face? Um, Other than that, like I
Listen,
said,
don't make me answer that. Don't make me answer that.
don't forget, guys, if you're listening to the audio version of this, leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the show. If you guys are watching the video live or watching the recorded version of the video, subscribe to us on YouTube, like the video. We're on Twitch, we're on Kick, we're on audio podcast platforms everywhere. Don't forget to check out our merch in the description below. We have a Discord. Check that out in the description below. We love you guys, man. Los, get us out of here, man.
Thank you very much. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Later, guys.
Later.